So here's the deal. I'm back in Puerto Varas. I'm buying some cutoff discs for the angle grinder, as you can see there. I gotta get these so that I can do some work on the truck, and I am going to do the best I can to get the trooper bumper finished up and start on the Rocky today. But I just found this walking by. I think you guys can see it real well in the video, but this is a bed-lined truck. From the texture, you can probably see it there a little bit better. Let me see on the other side, you can probably see it even better. Unfortunately, they did not do a very good job of bed-lining it, which isn't surprising. Not saying that against Chile, just in general, because it takes some... people have to really do a good job to bedline it well. You know what? That may even be plasti dip. It looks like it is, or something along those lines. But yeah, that's kind of, honestly, kind of hideous. So now I've got to grab a couple other things. I didn't get nearly what I was looking for. I just got the disc, which is good enough to get me going. I've got to get me some other stuff. I got to get a relay and that kind of junk, but a lot of places are still closed today. So I'm just doing what I can, and then I'll get back on to the fitting. The bumper's done because, well, I guess I haven't told anybody. Well, I put it on the internet, but on Facebook, but I am no longer putting the swing out tire carrier on the trooper. I am having to redesign a little bit. My wife really didn't like the idea of the swing out tire carrier on the back of it, and so after talking about it, I just said, well, to let her feel better, since she drives it a lot and she's afraid that we drive it a lot, and she's just afraid that, what's it called? That gas and stuff like that and the economy will go down. She's wanting to keep the tire carrier off, and the truth about it is that the back door isn't leaking anymore now that I've taken the back tire and the tire carrier off the back door. Sorry, I'm walking up a hill and I'm out of shape. So it's not leaking. So I'm going to fab up some kind of mount inside the Jeep inside the trooper. That's a Latin thing, calling every SUV a Jeep. And once I do that, I'll figure out how I'm going to get this all to work, and probably build a platform that goes over the spare tire in the cargo area eventually, not right now. And I've got to start working back on the Daihatsu. So it's kind of what I'm doing at the moment. Got a few more things to pick up here in Puerto Varas, and then I'll go on from there. Unfortunately, some of the stores were closed today. And in the meantime, I've started doing some more, sorry, I'm getting in the trooper. Started doing some more graphic design stuff as well. Well, really illustrating. I've taken Kerry Sharon's trooper, his first gen trooper, and I did a little graphic with it to show my appreciation for all his support. And I'm probably going to be taking other photos and doing the same. So if you're interested, if you would like to see your personal rig turned into an illustrated graphic, let me know and send it to me. I'll be happy to at least look at it and tell you if I can or can't, or how much time it would cost me, or take me. Not cost me, but take me. And just see if you're interested in that. So, got another episode of Off-Road Independence podcast coming out next week, as always. It's another episode with John Kappa. He makes even more fun of me. We get even further into the suspension discussion, and it's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the episode. You get to hear more of my stupid experiences from trial and error. Error, not error, but error. And we go from there. Puerto Vallarta today is pretty busy, so I gotta go so I can drive and not get a ticket and not get in an accident. The difficult thing about living in Chile is how tight the spaces are for the parking decks, and you have a lot of parking decks here because the overall land area that's usable, that's flat and not on some kind of volcano or mountain, is fairly reduced. So they have very compact systems of cities. Like the streets are fairly narrow a lot of times, and stores are very small, and parking decks are very small. And also some of that has to do with the fact that in the past the population didn't own vehicles. Most of them used buses or walked or whatever. It's just cultural. I guess it comes from the Spaniards. I really don't know why the communities are set up the way that they are traditionally. But usually, like, even in an area like, for instance, Santiago, it's really condensed in the center, and then on the outside, just a couple of miles out of town or out of the center, it's like wide open land and nobody lives there. And the idea is always in the culture to build houses like right on top of each other. But land is a lot of times a little bit more expensive here per ratio of income. And I think it's just because of the lack of usable land. Like up north in Chile, there's the driest desert in the world, but there's a ton of unused land, and it's just because, well, what do you do with the land, and where do you get water from, and all that kind of stuff. So that's just kind of the culture that has been built, and due to that, owning, like, I have a trooper here, and I also have the Daihatsu. The Daihatsu's not too hard because it's fairly small, but the trooper is a difficult challenge because it's wider than most of their other vehicles, and now the American full-size trucks are becoming more and more popular. And because they're becoming more popular, the compact parking decks and stuff like that are even more difficult because, I mean, these parking decks literally weren't designed for the volume of cars that are inside a city now, and they weren't designed for the size of vehicles that are being purchased now a lot of times. Before, most people, even farmers, had smaller pickups like Hiluxes or small SUVs like a Samurai or a Daihatsu or a two-door Land Cruiser Prada, something like that. And now they're just getting bigger and bigger, and it's actually causing a little bit of an issue. So it's just how it is, you know, something you have to deal with in the area. But it's okay. I mean, like, for instance, I had to close my mirror, and that's not uncommon.